There's a moment, just before you realize it's happening, when technology stops feeling like a tool and starts feeling like an extension of yourself. It's subtle, quiet, almost invisible, and with the Galaxy S26 Ultra, Samsung hasn't just released a new flagship, they've engineered that moment into hardware, glass, and code. You don't see the S26 Ultra first, you feel it. The second it leaves the box and settles into your palm, something clicks. Not audibly, but in your nervous system. The sharp, architectural aggression of the S24 Ultra is gone. The cautious softness of the S25 Ultra has matured into something confident, fluid, and profoundly human. This is the most comfortable Ultra ever made, and that's not marketing. It's geometry, materials science, and years of listening to what users actually said when they thought no one was listening. It's powerful, but it hurts to hold. Now, every edge is fully rounded. Not just the screen corners, though those now flow like liquid, but the entire chassis. The transition from display to metal frame isn't a seam, it's a whisper. Your thumb glides across the side without catching, your pinky no longer strains under a brutal right angle, and even during marathon gaming or movie sessions, the phone doesn't dig into your hand like a shard of ambition. It rests, it belongs, and then you flip it over. For 3 generations, Samsung chased minimalism to its logical extreme, cameras flush, mounted into a sea of uninterrupted glass. Elegant, yes, but cold, anonymous, like the phone was trying to hide its most powerful feature. The S26 Ultra says enough. In its place rises a sculpted, pill-shaped camera island, not as a compromise, but as a declaration. This isn't a bump. It's a signature. A carefully contoured bar that wraps around the lenses like a bespoke bezel. Color, matched precisely to your device's finish. Choose Phantom Black, and the island melts into a deep, matte obsidian. Go for titanium white, and it gleams in polished silver. Even the rumored new, lunar green, variant features a soft, brushed bronze island that catches light like aged copper. This is industrial design with intent. Samsung isn't just showing off sensors, they're framing them, honoring them, saying this is where magic happens. Look here. The visual harmony extends to the front. The bezels, already among the thinnest in the industry, have been shaved down just enough to make the 6.8-inch screen feel like it's floating in air. The punch-hole camera is slightly larger than before, not for gimmicks, but for function, enabling a wider field of view for video calls, vlogging, and group selfies, finally aligning with the industry's quiet shift toward more inclusive front cameras, a nod, perhaps, to Apple's recent iPhone evolution. But the true genius is in what you don't see. There are no unnecessary seams, no jarring transitions, no tech for tech's sake. Even the S Pen slot, once a functional afterthought, has been pushed further left along the bottom edge, subtly improving weight distribution when held in landscape mode for note taking or photo editing. The pen itself, its tip is now gently rounded, echoing the phone's softer language, so it no longer feels like a cold metal rod, but a natural extension of your creativity. This is Samsung at its most mature. Not chasing headlines with foldable gimmicks or under-display cameras that compromise image quality. Instead, they've doubled down on refinement. The kind that only comes after decades of iteration, millions of user complaints, and the quiet confidence that you don't need to reinvent the wheel to make it roll smoother. And yet, beneath this calm exterior pulses something revolutionary. Because the S26 Ultra isn't just beautiful to hold, it's astonishingly thin. Rumors placed it around 8.1 mm, but the official dummies suggest it's even leaner. And remember, this includes an S Pen, a 5000 mAh class battery, and likely the most advanced mobile chip ever made. That's not engineering. That's alchemy. Every curve, every micron of thickness, every millimeter of bezel reduction has been fought for. Not in boardrooms, but in labs where thermal engineers, material scientists, and ergonomics specialists argued over fractions of a degree and grams of weight. The result? A device that feels less like a slab of tech, and more like a trusted companion. Something you'll carry for 18 hours a day without resentment. Even the color philosophy has evolved. Gone are the loud, glossy finishes of the past. The S26 Ultra leans into tactile sophistication, matte titanium, mineral-inspired hues, and soft, touch coatings that resist fingerprints without feeling plasticky. This isn't a phone you show off in a club. It's one you rely on in a boardroom, a hospital, a mountain trail, or a 3 a.m. creative burst. And that's the real story of the Galaxy S26 Ultra. It's not about megapixels or teraflops or AI buzzwords. It's about presence. About a device that disappears into your life so completely that you forget it's there, until you need it to be extraordinary. And then, without fanfare, it is. This isn't the most exciting phone Samsung has ever made. It might just be the most important. Because in a world drowning in noise, the loudest statement you can make is quiet confidence. And the S26 Ultra, it speaks in silence. The Galaxy S26 Ultra's elegance isn't skin deep, it's a shell forged around a revolution. One Samsung has been preparing for years in silence. Because if part 1 is the soul of the device, part 2 is its spine, unbreakable, intelligent, and finally gloriously unified. The chip that changes everything. Exynos 2600. For over a decade, Exynos lived in the shadow of Snapdragon, a capable but compromised alternative, often throttling under load or lagging in GPU performance. Not anymore. The Exynos 2600 isn't just Samsung's comeback, it's their declaration of independence. Built on the world's first 7nm process, it's a marvel of efficiency and sustained power. Forget peak benchmarks that vanish after 30 seconds. This chip is engineered for real life. Samsung's secret weapon. Heat path block, a proprietary thermal layer using advanced KMC's kinetic conductive material that pulls heat away from the CPU GPU 37% faster than last year. The result? During a 90-minute Genshin Impact session, the S26 Ultra doesn't just maintain 60 FPS, it does so without dropping below 98% brightness or heating your palm to discomfort. CPU performance jumps 40% over the Exynos 2500, thanks to ARM's new V9-3 architecture and a restructured 10-core layout. 2 high-performance cores, 6 mid-efficiency, and 2 ultra-low power, perfect for everything from AI photo editing to background voice transcription. And for the first time in years, Exynos matches, or even exceeds, Snapdragon in sustained workloads. Samsung isn't just closing the gap, they're erasing it. Fixing what no one noticed was broken. Let's be honest, on paper, the S26 Ultra's camera specs look suspiciously familiar. Same 200MP main sensor, same 5x periscope telephoto. No wild new lenses. But that's where Samsung's genius shines. Instead of chasing megapixel arms races, they've spent 18 months solving invisible frustrations: flare control, new multi-layer anti-reflective lens coatings / lens ghosting in harsh sunlight. No more ruined beach shots with streaks of white light. Skin tone redemption. Remember the yellow-orange cast that made portraits look off? Gone. A new spectral sensitivity algorithm ensures Caucasian, Asian, and black skin tones render with natural warmth. No more post-edit correction. Low light video revolution. Thanks to DVNR's deep video noise reduction, nighttime video is cleaner, smoother, and retains micro detail in shadows. It's not just noise, it's usable cinema in near darkness. But the true earthquake is APV, Samsung's new professional video codec. Think Apple ProRes, but better. It records 8K HDR footage with full sensor data, preserving dynamic range and color depth for frame, accurate color grading in DaVinci Resolve or Premiere Pro. And unlike ProRes, APV compresses intelligently, so a 1-minute 8K clip takes half the storage. Best of all, APV runs entirely on device, powered by a re-engineered ISP that uses 50% less power than last year. You get studio-grade video without frying your battery. One UI 8.5e. The invisible co-pilot. The S26 Ultra ships with One UI 8.5, not just an OS, but a contextual intelligence layer. Focus zones let you create digital personas, a creator mode that surfaces Lightroom and voice recorder while muting social apps, or a travel mode that auto-enables roaming, shows boarding passes, and dims blue light after sunset. Switching feels like teleporting between lives. Private space isn't a folder, it's a second, encrypted OS instance. Apps, files, messages, all hidden behind a separate biometric lock. Your banking apps live here. So do your personal photos, and Samsung cannot access it. Adaptive scene widgets transform based on time, location, or activity. At 7 a.m., Spotify appears. In your car, Google Maps. At night, a meditation timer. It's not automation, it's anticipation. Battery and charging. The end of range anxiety, despite being thinner. The S26 Ultra packs a 5200 mAh battery, the largest in Ultra history. How? Samsung's new silicon carbon anode tech increases energy density by 18% without swelling risk. But the real innovation is microcharge cycles. Instead of blasting your battery with 45W from 0-100%, the phone charges in intelligent pulses, slowing down when full, speeding up when you're in a rush, and always adjusting based on temperature and your daily routine. Over 2 years, this extends battery health by up to 32% compared to linear charging. And for the first time, wireless charging hits 25W, meaning a full juice in under 75 minutes without cables. The bigger picture Samsung's quiet strategy, the S26 Ultra isn't trying to beat the iPhone on raw speed or foldables on novelty. It's playing a different game: longevity, cohesion and human-centric design. By unifying hardware Exynos software, One UI 8.5 EV and services APV, private spaced under one roof, Samsung ensures every feature works together, not just coexists. Your camera leverages the chip's AI to edit photos. Your battery talks to the OS to optimize background tasks. Your display adjusts based on ambient light and your usage patterns. This is the anti-fragmentation manifesto. While Android elsewhere feels like a patchwork of compromises, the S26 Ultra is a single, seamless organism. And that's why, for all its quietness, it might be Samsung's boldest phone yet. Not because it's the fastest, or the thinnest, or the first to do X, but because for the first time nothing gets in your way. No thermal throttling, no unnatural skin tones, no security loopholes, no UI lag, no, almost there, compromises, just pure uninterrupted flow. In a world of noise, the S26 Ultra doesn't shout, it simply is. And that's more than enough.